Good evening, class. I'm Ms. Costa, and I'm here to talk to you about Think Aloud. Think Aloud is a practice that small children use, actually children of all ages, even grown-ups, use when they're learning something new. When very young children learn something new, they speak the words out loud that they're learning. So if you've been around little toddlers, you've probably heard them just babbling and saying things out loud. This activity is called Think Aloud, and it can be used as a study skill for adults and especially college students who are trying to master difficult concepts. Thinking aloud is essential to early learning so that young people, children, can learn vocabulary, and adults do the same process. As adults, because we have social restrictions, we don't usually walk around talking out loud to ourselves. Instead, we internalize. So even though it's called Think Aloud, it's something that's done inside one's head. So another word for this activity when you're an adult is called private speech. So we have a couple different words for this practice. Think aloud and private speech. Go ahead and turn to your neighbor and define think aloud and private speech. Partner, or the three of you can work together.
So think aloud would be me almost breaking the camera if I had to define it. Think aloud.
Excellent. So I've heard everybody.
Absolutely brilliant. I know.
I've heard some good discussion on what think aloud is and private speech. You've done a great job.
I think you should ask Mike.
Yeah, I agree.
We can review my definition. It's documented.
That's correct.
Almost lost documentation there for a second.
So an important use for the private speech that we can practice as an adult is to talk ourselves through a challenging task or new material, new information that we're learning. Another important use for private speech is to manage a situation. Sometimes as adults, we know that we need to control our behavior or manage our emotions. We can talk inside our head instead of reacting. So this is an important social skill as well as a developmental and learning tool. So this is something that's important for us as future teachers to help our middle school and high school students master and be aware of the helpfulness of using this technique. So it can be a very effective learning style, and it aids or helps in learning retention by engaging the brain on different levels. We've talked about that in some of our classes using different kinds of brain activity. So some students, of course, learn best if they read something on the board or hear it out loud, and many students need to physically do something to learn best. This is another level of practice that students can do, is talk themselves through a challenging problem or situation. So I'm going to demonstrate the Think Aloud by helping you as students through an equation. Let's see, we're going to do, so one of the tasks that students need to learn in high school is to balance chemical equations. So one way to help them do this is to speak out loud as they solve an equation. So we will start with a very simple chemical equation. This is the molecule methane, which you may know as natural gas. And when we burn natural gas, methane combines with oxygen. And this little part of it is the yield. A lot of times students are really challenged when they say a chemical equation. It can look scary. And how do I know how to do that? How do I know what happens over here? Well, one approach is to talk yourself through the equation. Okay, so I'm going to model the talking through the equation. So I look at my paper and it says this weird thing. I tell myself, what is that weird thing? That is 2 molecules of methane, because I remember I wrote that in my notes. A molecule of carbon and hydrogen together, 4 hydrogens, that's methane. Now I know that it combines with this thing. I know that this thing is oxygen. So I'm combining 2 methane molecules, 1 oxygen molecule. So I have to balance the other side. So what I get on the other end is I forget. Is that correct? That's not correct. This is the way you would do this problem. You would yield water, 2 molecules of water, and
He's mad.
I think you need the 2 in front of the H.
I believe you. I wouldn't know anyway.
Where does the carbon go? 2H2O and
Probably 2C then?
2C. That's not correct, but this is the way you would use the technique. Is you would talk yourself through, and you would balance your equation by making sure that both sides of the equation were correct.
If you combine those, will you come out with carbon and water?
No, carbon and oxygen. Yes, you would. No, it's, yeah, 2 CH4 and 1 O2. Yes,
So you'd come out with carbon and water.
methane and water. Carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So the same elements are recombining by the use of fire. That's the catalyst for the equation to happen. So this is how you would use the technique. Sorry, I didn't write down my numbers. That threw myself off. So the teacher would model whatever the technique of Think Aloud, and show their work. So a student would know that when I go to do my problems and it just looks scary, one thing I can do is talk myself through it. So this is how I start, this is the next step, and this is the result. So that will help them overcome the scariness of chemical equations or difficult problems. So that's Think Aloud.
Thank you.